having already killed at least 9 people and forced hundreds of thousands to flee their homes. In Los Angeles County, the 35,000-acre Woolsey fire was threatening 75,000 homes, and more than 200,000 people were under mandatory evacuation. Meanwhile, President Trump has blamed gross mismanagement of forests for the 2 unchecked fires. At least 10 people were killed in Rio de Janeiro after a landslide. According to rescuers, 9 homes and a local business were affected by the landslide following days of heavy rain. 11 people have been rescued alive from the rubble, amongst from them a baby. At least 4 people are still missing. A round of flash floods in Jordan have killed at least 12 people and forced evacuations of nearly 4,000 people from the ancient city of Petra. Heavy downpour also triggered a state of emergency in the port city of Aqaba. Authorities have deployed a drone to search flooded areas for missing people and to measure damage caused by the storm. The rescue teams and helicopters are also searching for 5 people whose car was swept away in Madaba. Turkey said that it has shared recordings related to the murder of the journalist and writer Jamal Khashoggi with the US, the UK, Saudi Arabia and others. Turkish President Erdogan repeated his assertion that Saudi Arabia knew who had killed Khashoggi. Khashoggi, a critic of Saudi rulers, was killed inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul on October 2nd. The latest reports in Turkish media has said that the killers of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi poured in his remains down the drain after dissolving him in acid. Pro-government Daily Sabah said that the samples taken from the drains at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul show traces of acid. The observation led investigators to believe Khashoggi's corpse disposed of through the drains as liquid. A small crowd of supporters of the US President Donald Trump gathered in Paris to show their support and welcome the American leader during his visit to the French capital to attend commemoration ceremonies for Armistice Day. Demonstrators sang the US national anthem and held signs that read "Welcome to President Trump" and "CNN sucks." A Trump supporter said the demo aims to relay the message that French people have not forgotten the sacrifice made by US soldiers during World War I. French President Emmanuel Macron and US President Donald Trump have agreed on the need for Europe to bear more of the burden for defense, papering over an earlier Trump tweet that described Macron's call for a European army as very insulting. Meeting for talks at the Elysee Presidential Palace, Macron and Trump sought to find common ground on the issue. Macron said that he wanted Europe to bear a greater share of the defense cost within NATO, a point he has made repeatedly since taking office, alongside calls for Europe to develop its own military capability. The US military has warned thousands in a migrant caravan traveling through Mexico not to apply for asylum in the US, as thousands of soldiers gathered by the border region in anticipation of the group. Earlier, US soldiers performed a series of drills near its international border with a Mexican city. Although the migrants are still in the country's south and in Mexico City, President Donald Trump has reportedly sent over 5,000 soldiers to the border in response. A 3,000 years old historical site and an ancient tomb dating back to 1500 years ago has been discovered in Pingtan Island of East China's Fujian province. Since September, professors and students in Xiamen University started the archaeological research in Pingtan to figure out their ancestors' life in the island. Recently, they found a tomb built in the southern dynasties, which is the first ancient tomb found in an island in Fujian. To their surprise, they found many well-preserved bodies and burial objects with clear patterns. A report on China's human rights record in the third cycle Universal Periodic Review was adopted at a conference of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva. It's the third time that China's human rights record has been examined by the UNHRC's Universal Periodic Review mechanism, following the previous two reviews in 2009 and 2013, respectively. The Chinese government attaches great importance to the review, dispatching a high-ranking delegation headed by Vice Foreign Minister Li Yucheng to attend the review. Rome's embattled mayor Virginia Raggi has been acquitted of giving a false testimony over a city hall appointment, ending a months-long trial that had threatened her political career. The mayor hugged her lawyers after the judge read the verdict, finding no crime had been committed in the appointment of a city tourist official. Raggi was elected as a mayor in 2016 in a vote that was seen at a time as a major breakthrough for her five-star party, which has always promoted a squeaky clean image and promised to clean up the corruption-riddled Italian capital. The political crisis in Sri Lanka has deepened, with the country's main party, UNP, said it would challenge sacking of parliament in a court. This comes after President Maithripala Sirisena dissolved the parliament, paving way for general elections on January 5th, nearly 2 years ahead of schedule. Ousted PM Ranil Wickremesinghe has called the move as unconstitutional and vowed to oppose the dissolution of parliament, saying it robbed people of their rights. Sri Lankans have reacted to the dissolution of the parliament, saying the election was the only way to end political crisis in the island nation. The political crisis in Lanka started after the president sacked elected Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and replaced him with defeated leader Mahinda Rajapakse. Wickremesinghe has refused to vacate the official Prime Minister's residence, saying he is the Prime Minister with parliamentary majority. A supermarket in Russia's Lenta food retailer caught massive fire in central St. Petersburg, leading to roof collapse, but there were no casualties. Rescue services evacuated people from a shopping mall that housed the supermarket after the fire was reported. Heavy black smoke spread across the shopping mall as flames were blazing from the inside of the building and on its roof. Lenta said it was investigating the cause of the fire in its supermarket. The number of people killed in suicide bombings and a gun attack in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, has risen to 53. A number of wounded people were transferred to the city's specialty hospital to receive treatment. The militant group Al-Shabaab, linked to Al-Qaeda, has claimed responsibility for the attack on the hotel Sahafi, which is near the headquarters of Somalia's Criminal Investigation Department. The Japanese government said it would extend its anti-piracy mission in the seas of Somalia for another year. Country's defense minister said that the extension of the patrol of Somalia and the Gulf of Aden to protect vessels from pirate attacks was in line with international efforts, including that of the European Union, which has also extended its mission. The number of raids and kidnappings by pirates have fallen due to the patrols. Thousands marched in Rome to protest against racism and Italian government stance on immigration. Demonstrators were angered by a contested security decree championed by Deputy Prime Minister Matteo Salvini, the head of the far-right league, which tightened immigration regulations, limited the right to asylum. The legislation was forced through the upper house by the government, winning a confidence vote. The bill must now go to the lower chamber for approval. Despite several measures taken by the government to curb pollution, there is no respite for residents in New Delhi, with pollution levels touching hazardous levels in the city. City residents have complained of teary eyes and breathing difficulties, with higher pollution levels triggering warnings that even healthy people are at risk of several diseases. Delhi's air is among the worst in the world, although many in the city of more than 20 million are unable to protect themselves from the cocktail of gases and particles. Security forces have gunned down 2 terrorists during an encounter in Pulwama region of Jammu and Kashmir. A search operation was launched following input about presence of terrorists in a village in Pulwama. The 2 terrorists belonged to Pakistan-based terror outfit Hizbul Mujahideen. Saffron growers in Kashmir have cited lack of proper irrigation facilities and drought as a reason behind the low production of saffron. Saffron is one of the world's most expensive spices. India is among the world's largest producers of saffron, and majority of it comes from Kashmir. Kashmir's cool climate and rich soil with excellent drainage and organic content make the location an ideal thriving ground for the spice. But the weather can spoil the entire crop. Now, Iran is a leading producer of saffron globally, followed by India. The Gavli community in Pune has organized a bull show to mark the annual Sagar festival. During the show, the bulls are bathed, decorated and felicitated for helping their owners with its milk production business. The horns of the bull are decorated and the animal is decked with peacock plumes. Sagar festival is mostly observed by the milk traders of the region, and a rally is also organized with decorated bulls. Over 450 Japanese companies attracted much of people's attention at the first ever China International Import Expo in Shanghai with their latest and greatest gadgets. From robotics to 5G to high-end manufacturing, the China International Import Expo had it all. One of China's neighbors, Japan, sent the most companies to the expo, many of whom helped whisk visitors into the future. Sports news now. We begin with football. From England, Leicester City have honoured their late owner Vichai Srivaradhanaprabha before they hosted their first Premier League match at the King Power Stadium since his tragic demise 2 weeks ago. The Thai billionaire, fondly remembered as the mastermind for the Foxes' stunning Premier League title triumph in 2016, was among the 5 personnel in the helicopter that crashed outside the stadium. Leicester has also announced plans to erect a statue of the late chairman.